Talking with the experts.
Welcome to episode 289 with Chrissy Mellinger. Chrissy deep dives into showing us how to be ourselves in business and why it's so important.
The biggest thing that will take probably the longest amount of time in it is to actually look through all of the old beliefs that you have, all of the habits that you have, how you're showing up right now, what you're doing, what you're not doing, and figure out the why behind it. So if you're showing up inconsistently, that you're up, you're on social media, your blog, whatever platform you use, once a week or like twice a week and then 7 times and then, all this, whatever inconsistency is, why is it? Is it a fear? The most common ones are going to be, is it a fear of failure? Because if you put yourself out there and people aren't accepting you, a fear of rejection along the same line. And also look at the fact that it might be a fear of success.
Welcome to Talking with the Experts. This is where we discuss great ideas to take your business to the next level. How do we know these ideas work? Well, it's because we're talking with business owners who are using these ideas. Business owners who have years of experience and expertise. All things business by business owners for business owners. And now, here is your host, Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. I'm your host, Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners. You can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And I just want to ask you this. Are you being your authentic self? Are you showing up as yourself? Did you know that it was the single most important part of being in a business? My next guest, Chrissy Mellinger, is a certified coach and perpetual student of life. Following a furlough from the hospitality industry in 2020, she took the opportunity to redesign her own life and follow her true calling. She is always learning something new with the goal of better serving her clients and the world. Chrissy holds dual Bachelor of Science degrees in finance and economics, as well as an MBA, clever girl. It is this dedication to personal development that she combines with a love of serving others to help her clients find their most authentic selves and build their dream lives. Welcome, Chrissy, and thank you for being here today at this ungodly hour of the morning.
Thank you so much, Rose, for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
We call it sparrow fat here because
like
the sparrows aren't quite up yet.
That's a good word. I'm going to take that one. I like it.
Yeah. Okay, so why did you decide to do what you are doing now?
Really, a couple of things kind of converged together. First, I had back in 2018, a few years ago, just kind of honestly like a breakdown. I hadn't taken care of myself for 30 years at that point. Everything came to a head. I was having massive health issues. I needed to take a leave of absence from work. I was starting to make mistakes at work, which was my whole identity at that point, was like being really good at my job. And that kind of led me down the journey of personal development without this scope of work, right? Like I had done all the personal development for public speaking and mentorship and training and all of this. But I actually worked on myself for the first time in my whole life. So that just like completely changed the trajectory of where I was going. And then the pandemic completely shuttered the hospitality industry. So in 2020, instead of remaining on furlough, not really wanting to go back to my job, but that's kind of what you do in life. You work until you're 60 and then you retire if you're lucky and you die 20 years later. I took that as like universe's not so gentle nudge to get out and do something I wanted to do, which is to help women. It's to help the world and just like bring more good into the world. So here I am. That's what I'm doing. And it's a lot more fun.
Oh, that's an awesome aspiration, actually. So building a business, and especially if you're a solopreneur like you and I, it's hard enough to do, every day, single day, and get up and be motivated. And, is so much information out there in Google land or cyberspace or wherever you want it to be about mindset. But what is the most single important thing to do?
Honestly, it's just being yourself. And I know that sounds really simple and something that we're taught from kids, is just be yourself. Don't be like anybody else. But like you just said, there's so much information out there, and we're being inundated every day with, this is the right marketing strategy, or you have to have, a TikTok or an Instagram or a Facebook and all these different things. But if your energy is not matched with it, if you don't want to do podcasts or vodcasts and you're going to do it anyway, it's going to come through. So the most important thing is to just be true to yourself, and everything else will fall into place. You still need to have the strategies, and you still need to do the inner work, and you still need to do all that kind of stuff. But if it's coming from a place of, wow, this feels really good, this is something I want to do, it's not going to matter if you're up at 6:45, like you're so excited to be doing this thing that everything else is going to fall into place.
I totally agree with you. I think the world needs more people to be themselves and be authentic and show up, no matter what, and stop scrolling through social media and taking all that brainwashing on board, because honestly, that's all it is. And if you should be able to make up your own mind about how you want to strategize your business rather than taking the opinion of others.
Oh my gosh, yes. And it's like school, right? You're going back and you're picking up the pieces that make sense for you, and we're learning from each other. But it's that being able to make the decision that says, hey, you know what? That's actually not for me. That strategy, that plan, that brand, that's not for me. And not from any source of comparisonitis of I can't do that, or that's different, or that's bad, but just truly in the same way that, like, you and I are not going to wear the same clothes because that's just not our style. Our strategy shouldn't look the same for business. Our marketing shouldn't look the same for business. So why do we keep putting ourselves into this box of like, I have to do what they're doing? You don't know if it feels good for them either. Like,
no, that's very true. I had an aha moment yesterday. I had a guest on who is into human design. I don't know if you've heard of that. And she read my chart live on the podcast. And it was so interesting what she pointed out to me. And, people have been telling me, Rose, you should run this course. You should do this. You should do that. So I did the things that, people said I should be doing rather than doing what I want to do. And that's just podcast. I love meeting new people. I love the whole process of it. And to me, it lights me up. I look forward to speaking to all of my guests. And so my friend and I, we're going to start another podcast for a social enterprise that we've been involved in since 2018. And then she is doing a podcast for her business as well. So I will be producing that. So, it's a win-win for me because it's what I love to do. And so, writing these courses, and I love to do the writing part. It's the delivering that I don't like. And so, why do something that I don't like doing, I'm not comfortable with. So I really get what you're saying. I think it's really important, whether you're in business or just life in general, follow your heart, follow your gut. I think very rarely will your gut lead you astray. It will lead you less astray than your head will, that's for sure.
Yes. Congratulations on the new podcast. Like, that sounds phenomenal. I binged a lot of your episodes before today, and like, your energy is so good and so high, and like, you're such a great host that I'm so excited for you. Oh,
thank you. I got goosebumps now.
But, yeah.
It obviously shows, because you're not the first guest to say that they love to listen to them because of the energy that I bring, and it's because I enjoy it so much. And even if I'm having a really bad day, I still like to bring that energy because I'm meeting somebody new. I'm learning from them as well. It's not just like I'm listening to them rattle off their latest book or podcast or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm actually learning stuff from them, and it's really great, and I love it.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And I liked what you said about your gut will lead you less astray than your brain, because it's totally true. And most, at least in my experience and what I've heard from clients and other friends and people in life, when your gut leads you astray, it's not actually your intuition. It's the fear that's coming up. And it's your ego kind of distracting you and telling you, you can't do this. You can't show up as yourself. You can't be this weird woman out in the world, just like spewing all this stuff about magic, right? That's not actually your gut or your intuition telling you that you can't do something. So a nice, easy rule of thumb is if your gut is telling you you can't do something, that's most likely not your actual gut.
No, it's
Like
probably
your
your ego. It's that
intuition.
itty bitty
Mhm.
shitty little devil on your shoulder whispering
Yep.
in your ear.
Just like politely or not so politely ask him to leave.
That's it. Yeah, tell him, just go away.
Yes.
Yeah, I do believe in the little itty bitty shitty thing, because that's where imposter syndrome comes from, because they get in your ear.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
so yeah, I'm after having this thing done yesterday, oh my God, I'm just so much more positive, because I didn't really know what I was meant to be doing, but now I do know, because she said that I like to give a voice to other people, and that's very true. So yeah, so she picked it, or the human design graph picked it for me. So yeah, it was really good. Anyway, we're not here to talk about me and my human design.
But human design is super interesting, and it goes so detailed. Like, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's really great. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and get a proper assessment with her very soon. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I guess in business, and if you're not listening to all the shitty things that are going on, and people are telling you the things that you should be doing, what are some of the steps that they could take to more easily um, define what they should be doing, and being their true self?
The biggest thing that will take probably the longest amount of time in it is to actually look through all of the old beliefs that you have, all of the habits that you have, how you're showing up right now, what you're doing, what you're not doing, and figure out the why behind it. So if you're showing up inconsistently, that you're up, you're on social media, your blog, whatever platform you use, once a week or like twice a week, and then 7 times, and then, all this, whatever inconsistency is, why is it? Is it a fear? The most common ones are going to be, is it a fear of failure? Because if you put yourself out there and people aren't accepting you, a fear of rejection along the same line. And also look at the fact that it might be a fear of success. Because for so many of us coming out of the corporate world or anything that's not entrepreneurial, our success is defined by a paycheck, by a promotion, by a title, by something like that. Whereas when you're working for yourself, you don't really have a title bump, right? Like, we're already the CEOs. That's as high as you can get. So really looking into the why of what you're doing and what you're not doing, and unraveling those beliefs, disproving the fears that may be coming up for you, and then replacing them with something else. And then the replacing them with something else is the next step, where, okay, if you don't want to have this fear of failure anymore, what does that actually mean to you? Like, what are you afraid of failing? What does it look like to be really okay and comfortable with totally bombing the next launch you have? detaching from it, which is much easier said than done. But the detaching part of it allows you to have more fun, business, life, whatever, because if you can stay more present, stay more mindful of like, okay, I'm going to enjoy this experience for what it is, which sometimes is going to be total chaos and hell. Hopefully not all the time, but you can enjoy the process. Then it's about making the impact, right? It's not about always striving for that next monetary goal or striving for that next handbag or whatever it is. It's
Or the
about making
kudos, like the award, or the pat on the back from everyone else, when you should be patting yourself on the back for doing such a good job. Even if it wasn't as good as what you thought it was, at least you got through it.
You got through it and you learned something from it. Like whatever I have, I color a lot. That's one of the ways that I calm down. And I was cleaning up my office for this, but the one that literally fell off my wall was "The future is bright." And it's just this mentality of whatever is going wrong, whatever is not going according to the plan, which the plan is shit. Like, let go of the plan. The plan is not going to be the thing. Just continue focusing on moving forward and not relapsing back into that fear, that old patterning, but instead start to build up those new habits, whether the habit is not scrolling on social media and using it strictly as a tool and not a source of comparison or a source of I'm not doing enough. If it's getting up early, if it's working with your human design and realizing that you need to be out in like a cafe to work. I need to be in my office by myself in the quiet to work. But like building up those new habits, those new practices, those new beliefs so that they become the default now. And also like a little bit not giving a shit. Like honestly, just not giving a crap about what other people think, because they're not paying your bills. They're not growing your business. They're not doing the work that you're doing. And we're all here for individual purposes.
Yeah,
so
we are somewhere. We just have to find it. And it took me all this time to find mine.
But you did, and it's phenomenal.
I'm really happy. So yeah, it was really an eye-opening experience yesterday. I guess going on from that, and don't giving a shit, and taking your chill pill, and don't compare yourself to others, because really they don't know your life, you don't know their life, and you don't know how long it took them to get where they are, even though they said they were an instant success. But don't believe it for a second. There's very few people who are instantly successful. Very, very few. And I reckon most of them have had a hand upwards by somebody. So, yeah. But anyway, we won't get on that boat. But
I agree with you.
However, you've explained the steps that we need to take to become our most authentic selves. How can we then use those to help others?
Yeah. So I think once you tap into who you really are and who it is you want to be, it's showing up. Part of it is literally just putting yourself out into the world, whether that's on a social platform, on a virtual platform, building up a physical community. Because once you're firmly seated in this identity of Chrissy or Rose, everything that you do is coming out and happening with more confidence, more energy, more attraction, more power and potency, that even if you're going to the grocery store, right? Like we're talking about business, but just everyday life, when you are firmly seated in who you are, you can show up mostly as a kinder person, as a more generous person, right? Like you're living in love, you're living out of abundance and gratitude. And that's going to affect every single person you come into contact with. Purely from like, if we go super woo here, purely from an energetic, spiritual perspective, like the energy that you're putting out there is much higher vibe than when you're like, I don't know who I am. And then from a business perspective, when you can start to, for me, for instance, right, I'm really sarcastic. We find each other. But when you can start to use the things that make you special or different or who you are, people gravitate towards you more. So I use sarcasm naturally in my lives or whatever training I have. And it just shows more of my personality. And that allows people to come in and be like, oh, okay, she's kind of a smart ass. I like her energy. We're going to like follow her, be attracted, work with her, etc. But whatever your special sauce is, and we all have multiple, right? There are multiple things that make us unique and special. But when we can start to use them and start to show up and be like, hey, even if it's a little bit, hey, I'm a goofball. I color. Like my life is my dogs, right? When I can start to bring those things in, it lets people know who you are as a person. And all these super professional brands out there, all these super professional brands out there have a personality. People want to know who you are as a person. It's not just what can you do for them, but do they like you? Do they want to be around you? Do they want to pay you a lot of money? If they don't like you as a person, they're not going to pay you a lot of money, especially as solopreneurs, because they don't get anybody else, right? Like we're the only people they get to interact with.
I like that.
So it's just
feel that one.
Right. Like we're it, man. This is what you got.
That's it. Yep. Be yourself and, bugger the rest. Chrissy, where can people find you if they want to work with you? Yes.
So I have both a website and an Instagram. They are the same. So it's chrissymellinger.com or Instagram at Chrissy Mellinger. Instagram is my biggest platform. That's where most of my content is, but I do have some cool freebies on my website if they want to hit up some trainings to figure out what they want to do in business, figure out what their purpose is, all of that. That's available on my site. Perfect. And what advice would you give to, those listening and watching today if you could offer some tidbit, tip, or quote? There scientifically are millions of things that had to go just a certain way for you to be here today. So stop wasting time trying to be someone else, because God, universe, source, whatever your word is, put you here for a reason. So stop wasting time and start showing up as yourself, because we sorely need you. Like that. Perfect. Absolutely. I keep that one in my pocket. It's been an absolute pleasure, Chrissy. I hope I can invite you back to come on later on in the year. Yeah? Yes. Thank you so much. This was amazing. I really appreciate your time today. Okay. I'll talk to you very soon. Okay.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson. Make sure you have a look at our back catalogue over at talkingwiththeexperts.com, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any episode. We look forward to your company next time. Talking with the Experts.